This is CZSurvivor, and say hello to the Wither Factory. Now, this is a machine designed to accumulate wither skeletons in particular, but will also accumulate zombie pigmen, magma cubes, blazes, regular skeletons, and the occasional baby zombie pigmen. So let's quickly go into game mode C, and we should start seeing spawning. We are on hard, right? Let me just check. There we are, we've got spawning, and they're all being pushed into the nether portals. We'll talk about where those nether portals lead. Now, this is built within a nether fortress chunk that keeps them inside, that they spawn inside, so we get wither skeletons. More on that later. Now, down in the description will be a link, well, a download for this world, and there'll also be an MC edit schematic for the full factory, and also a single slice. I'll explain more of that on a bit. Let's go see where these wither skeletons and other hostile mobs of the nether are going. Right, so now we're in the overworld. We've got a few mobs in there, not many, not enough for how long you should leave the farm running. And this is what I've got in the overworld. Ignore this hole. Okay, apparently the blaze is glitched out due to this hole. I'll have to fix that because of the hole. And basically, here is a button. When we click it, it initiates a piston crusher. Now this is a cascading piston crusher, so top activates first, then bottom. This will leave them on just above 1 heart, and we'll get ourselves a splash potion of harming and a splash potion of healing. Use your healing first to kill the undead mobs, that's the skeletons and the zombie pigmen. And then use your harming to eliminate the remaining blaze. Your healing will slightly heal the blaze, so you may want to crush the remaining blaze. It's totally up to you. And you go collect your XP, and in here should be the items. And apparently this 4 is glitched. Wow. Let's just fix that because it will annoy me. So, you saw how this works. Let's explain the redstone here. Now we've got a button leading into a redstone torch, which has some redstone leading into this, a hopper timer. Now the hopper timer is minus that redstone torch. What you see here, we have 22 items in here, which works out roughly to be about 9 seconds, which is enough to bring them down to just over 1 heart. So it's just 2 comparators, 2 sticky pistons, a redstone block, 2 hoppers, and 22 items, plus the redstone torch. Then my signal splits. The redstone block there is powering the redstone, and it splits over to here. Now this redstone torch powers this piston, and this redstone torch powers this piston and this piston. Redstone is weird when it interacts with pistons, just go with it. And we've got a repeater here for delay, so the bottom cascades last. So if I can quickly just show you, look at the top one goes in first, bottom one goes in second, well, bottom locked go in second. This is to trap the mobs in there so they can't jump out, and it automatically brings back, and these are just pressure plates on top of droppers. So that's the killing mechanism. Let's go on to this, the actual machine. So when I said at the beginning about the schematic slice, this is it. You can use the MC schematic to place it in your world, and you can just have a quick look at it. So all this is a repeating pattern of cascading pistons, excluding here due to space confinement, and all it does is will quickly simulate a mob spawning, cascade you down into the lovely nether portal, which is nice. There's only 2 problems with this design, and they're only minor. Baby zombie pigmen don't get hit by the piston, but occasionally walk off, and also occasionally other mobs will knock them off. And magma cubes, 7 out of 8 times they'll bounce themselves off. Well, generally they'll eventually bounce themselves out of here, and other times mobs can actually knock them off, which is very nice. So let's get into building this device, but first we need to find the location to build it. Right, quick tip in finding nether fortresses: travel east or west first. Once you find a nether fortress, if it's not the desired nether fortress that you need, I'll explain that once I find one, start heading north or south. They spawn in strips heading north and south. If you go east to west, you're more likely to run into the strips. Once you find the strip, you can head up and down it to find more fortresses. So I'm off heading in the east direction. No, sorry. Actually, you want to head in the northern direction. Well, no, I want to head in the northern direction because this is already a fortress, so I'm already on a spawning strip. So, off in the north for me, actually. You lot will want to head east at first until you find a nether fortress. So here is a nether fortress, and this is actually a shape that you'll want. Now, what you're looking for is 2 of these crossroad intersections. So, these 2. So, one of these and one of these side by side with no bridge sections in between, and by bridge section I mean it'd be one of these so it has its arches in between. These are a little simpler, so let's see if I can find. I don't think I'll have a situation here. Now you also don't want to use these ones because they have a smaller spawning area, so we'll want to use these cross sections. So first of all, I advise if there's any netherrack nearby, clear it out. Right, so I've just empty edited out all the netherrack and nearby blocks. You don't need to clear out as much area as I've done, you just need to clear the area around here. This should cause you to end up having something that looks roughly like this, a nice rectangle. Now you want to go to one of your corners and go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and up 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now this should make a cube shape if you do it on all 4 corners, and this is your spawnable area. This should cause you to have something that looks roughly like this. Generally not out of iron blocks, but something of a similar shape and size. So now you have this. This is the full area that mobs can spawn. So their feet will be either anywhere from this block all the way up to this block. So they would spawn there. A mob could spawn there. Just so it's clarified. And also a mob can spawn there. Well, the nether fortress spawns can spawn there, sorry. Not normal nether spawns, because the nether fortress spawns don't actually take into account ghasts. Just something you might want to know. So now that we have this, we can start construction on the wither factory. You will need for this build 722 sticky pistons, 480 pieces of obsidian, 722 pressure plates, stone, wood, and I do believe iron and gold would work. However, that would be very expensive and that would be kind of showing off. And you will also need 3,647 building blocks, preferably something that looks nice, as for you'll be able to see them. And for the outer casing, which I would advise glass, stained or regular, so you can see inside of your build, you will need 2,738 pieces. So that is what you will need. Next step I would advise is also clearing out the nether brick inside the spawning area, so you have a nice clear hollow area. Now let's begin with building it. So we're going to grab our sticky piston, building block, repeater, pressure plate and obsidian, and I'm also going to get some glass. So we're going to begin by coming over to, actually we'll start off at this edge because it is easier. We're going to go beneath this block here. Place your building block. We're going to take out all of this, and then we're going to place one more block to the right, like so. Place a block here, put down a pressure plate, repeater, sticky piston, and a block. We're then going to put obsidian, and then we're going to go to the outside of our spawning area. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1 in, and we have part of our portal. Next step, we're going to build up one more, and this time we're also going to use actually a piece of obsidian here to allow us to compress the size of this build into a smaller space. Sticky piston here, block. We're going to take out a bit more of our frame, and we're going to do this another 2 times, this time without the obsidian. So blocks, sticky piston, and another block, and we'll finish it off. Block, 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 repeater, pressure plate, sticky piston, block, and we now have our spawning areas for the wither farm. Next of all, you're going to want to just rinse and repeat on the lines. So we're going to put you there, we're going to build up like so, we're going to clear out some more area, we'll get rid of these, and I advise coming inside so you don't have the nether brick out there. This is going to be very awkward with scaffolding, I do know, but you'll just have to deal with it. So block, 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 stone pressure plate, repeater, and piston. And now you're going to do this all the way down to the end until you get to this one here. So let me get to that point. Right, so I've just quickly MC edit schematic in a slice of this. That is why they've got the colours and not with the original blocks. Now on top of these, you're going to want to put, well, on top of the piston and the pushing block, you want to place a block on each one of them, and then you're able to encase it all in glass. So you would put just a ring all the way around. The reason for this is wither skeletons need 3 high blocks to spawn, so they need this 3 high gap here. So you get this kind of effect. 1, 2, 3 spawning slots. Now down here, we're going to work on the final little segment. Should be plain simple, but just in case if you don't get it, we're going to put a piece of obsidian. No. Yes, we're going to put a piece of obsidian, sorry. 2 blocks. 1 block there. Actually, no. 3 blocks, then 1 block there. Repeater, pressure plate, piston, block, and then 1 more of these. We'll have pressure plate, repeater, block, block, piston, and pushing block. Then what you're probably going to want to do is you're going to want to fill this entire area in here with building blocks, maybe glass or an actual solid block as I've done here. It is totally up to you, and you want to put the ring of glass on, and you'll also want to place glass where there are not these obsidian pillars on the side. So let me quickly do that. Now that you have done that, you should get something that looks roughly like this, with the glass on the outside to encase the mobs so they cannot escape. And I have the portals in there because I am editing the whole thing. So let me just whack these out. And all you have to do now is merely just build out in slices. So what I would do is over here at the far side, I would put a layer of blocks, so something like this. And then what I would do is come over to here, break out this, and just start building in lines. So build this all the way line down there. Don't forget to take out more of your nether fortress that may be in your way. Then this one like so, placing them in the right place, and like so, just in long lines, repeating it, so that way you can't mess anything up, and it'd be nice and simple. And then once you've done that, you just want to repeat this casing on the outside here and put it on the left side. And don't forget this glass bit here. This is just to help the mobs filter down properly. It's not entirely necessary, but it makes it a bit better. And this, well, black stained clay for this example, but could be any block, could even be glass if you wanted, to stop the mobs spawning back here. So that is that. Let me just finish off by MC editing what should be left of the spawn to add, and we can have a look at it in this fortress. I have now emptied it. Now what you're probably going to want to do, that you now have the thing constructed, is you're going to want to take some half slabs. So we'll just get a slab, I would advise probably cobblestone if you have a regular pickaxe, and stone slabs if you have a silk touch pickaxe. And what you want to do is all spawnable locations, so all blocks mobs can spawn, you want to slab it off like so. Or your other option is to get lava buckets and cover the area in lava, as for mobs can't spawn in lava. Whichever choice you make is totally up to you, although I would advise slabs because lava, player plus lava doesn't mix very well. And once you did that, you should have a highly efficient spawning area. Then what you're going to want to do is link up these nether portals. Now what I would suggest doing to make sure that it works is you're going to want to go count and find the middle one. So let me just quickly try and figure this out with the space that I've got. I haven't got a very good viewing angle. So you want to go from, what I would advise is get into a position like this so you can see it all, and then just use your fingers. So I'm counting from the outside on both ends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that leaves these two as the middle. What I advise then is to go down, eeny meeny miny mo. I'd pick this one, and what you want to do actually is go along to, well actually no, you want to go along to the middle here, and you're going to come along, if I can get inside, find the middle of this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shall be the middle. Then what I would do is just punch out these blocks here and, well, mine out, and this is the exact middle of your farm. So you're going to want to line up your fortress, well, your portal in the overworld on the south-north axis for this example, so in the long ways of the fortress. So your portal will be built in the overworld in this section here. So I'll just quickly put these back. So now you've done that, you want to, what I advise is take a screenshot of this block, take a screenshot of this block, and then you're going to want to go on to a program on the internet, which I'll leave a link in the description down below, and you're just going to use the your coordinates, put both of them in, and then find the middle point between the two, and just build your portal in those two blocks. So I'll quickly go get that and show you what it should be for my case. Right, from working out an average between those two coordinates, mine works out at 8692. So what you want to do is you want to add the two coordinates you get along the axis that changes. One axis will stay the same, so for me the X stayed the same, and my Y changed. So one of my Y's ended up in the overworld being 8696, and the other one was 8688. Now you want to line it up, make sure you get the Y-axis the same as well, and try not putting any nether portals within a couple thousand blocks or so. Just try and keep nether portals, well, not 1,000 blocks, but a relative distance away so it doesn't interfere. So we're going to put this like so, line these up, and we now have the portal that will work. Now you're going to want the side that you want to be building on, go to the opposite side and just block it up with a block of your choice of decoration. So I'm going to go with sandstone, and we'll get rid of that. Now that you have that, you can start building what will be your output area. So what I would advise is put a 2 wide lip on there, put an edge here and an edge here, then place 1 block there, and then glass this so you can have a nice viewing area. Then you want to go down 1, 2, do that on all blocks like so. Actually, you don't need to go that far back. You'll probably be building this in the ground, but you'll want something very similar to this. Then place your blocks here, here, and your glass here. And this is what I built it, well, shows you in the overworld right at the beginning. So piston, so we're going to grab that, we're going to build 2 out like so, sticky piston there, and sticky piston there, rinse and repeat on the other side like so, sticky piston, and now I'm going to build the redstone that will make this work, and you don't need to see that because, well, you can see that at the end actually because it's very simple. Right, so this is the clock you want to build. This is a hopper clock, I believe it was EFO's design. So we have the clock here and my activation mechanism, which is just a button and a redstone torch. So what you need is this, and then inside of here you want to add 22 items. So let me get 22, place them in one of the pistons, and this system is ready to go. Now where this redstone block is locked, which should be on the far side as you see here, place some blocks like so, redstone underneath, and then we shall hook up the pistons, and you should end up with something similar to this. You may or may not need a repeater, it depends how far away you build this mechanism here, and if we give a quick test this should work. So timer's going off. Now all I've done is hooked up a redstone wire here, and it comes into this. Pistons are weird, it's just a fact in Minecraft. So this is what makes it work. Everything, ignore that repeater. We've got this up here, this block here is powering this repeater here, and these are going into here, turning off them at the moment. But when we push the button, the top one activates first, pushing the top piston in. You want these actually set to 4 ticks, so you actually get a reasonable difference. So you should see the top one track first and the bottom. Okay, that's weird. Why aren't you working? You should be. Yep, top went in first. So that is the system. Then what I'd advise you do is knock out these blocks here. We'll clear that. We'll get 1 hopper and a chest, and you may want to hook this up to some complicated fancy sorting system to sort out the blaze rods, the wither skeleton skulls and all that. You're going to put down your chest here. You will then want to clear your inventory and grab a splash potion of, oh, doesn't read by splash. It might help if I can actually spell. Splash potion of insta health, it should actually be 1, and a splash potion of harming, I'll just go with 1 for now. And then you are going to want to get a sword, which any sword you want, and add looting to it. So we're going to get an anvil as well. Now if you don't know, when you throw a potion, if you switch to a sword, it will apply a looting effect. So we have a looting effect here. I'm going to quickly spawn in some mobs. Right, so I've loaded up with a few mobs, and I've changed the timing to be 24 blocks. This works out to be perfect, and this will choke the mob, well, suffocate them in a wall till just above 1 heart. Well, half a heart. I do believe it actually leaves them on half a heart, but I'm not able to test it. And that was a baby 7 pigmen. Don't know why that happened exactly, but then I advise you spoil a splash potion of healing right there and switch to your diamond sword. Then I advise you just allow the pistons to just suffocate the remaining blaze, because this farm is aimed for wither skulls. Unfortunately, so far we have not acquired any, because we haven't been working it with wither skulls, but you will get wither skulls if you use wither skeletons. So that is the farm. I will leave a link in the description for the world download, as I said, and all the MC edit schematics for the farm itself. This I don't believe needs an MC edit schematic. You'll be spawned in at the other one, so not this one that I just built, but the one original, and I'll crop the world so it's not too big. So thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed. If you liked this design, please hit that like button. If you've got any ideas or comments or questions about this design or anything in general about my channel, then why don't you put it down in the comment section. I will be building this in my vanilla survival series eventually. Unfortunately, I don't have slimes yet, and I'm going to need to get them. So, should be about 5 episodes from now, and you should go check that out if you're not actually already subscribed. Hit the subscribe button, and then you can stay up to date with my channel. Stay well, and Survivor out.